Okay. Hello and welcome everyone in this new world that we are all facing together. And, we've had to think about things in a different way. And with me today, I have my wonderful guest, Trish. And if you've been following, those of you that have been following my Mindful Conversation podcast, you will know that Trish was my very first guest that I had. And as we all go through a different transition in life and we shift and sometimes focus on new things. And Trish has been doing that. And that's why I wanted Trish to be on my podcast again, but still sharing that same value of loving ourselves, making self-care, and having that positive mindset. So thank you so much, Trish, for being here. I appreciate you being on my podcast again.
Wow, it's quite an honor. I had no idea I was your first guest, and here we are. Talk about change and transformation in a year. We both had lots of changes in our own journey.
Yeah, definitely. And Trish, what do you find is the biggest journey that ties into how you think about yourself and how you think about, the greater world and what you do? Like,
You
how does
know,
that all roll together?
I think that we have to be open to change and kind of look for the signposts in life. There's
Mm,
certain things that come up, and we have different opportunities to make different decisions based on either our client base or opportunities to collaborate with other people, or start whole new initiatives based on networking. And I just think you really have to be open to the possibilities, because I've just finished a rebrand, and it's my fourth rebrand. So I started as an entrepreneur in 1993. And this rebrand was all about the future and what my client base was asking me for. And so we started a whole new initiative, and we're really thrilled that you've been a part of it as well, Tanya.
thank you so much. And I love how you mentioned, Trish, that, you've rebranded yourself as well.
Mhm.
And from a year ago, when you were first on our conversation here on my Mindful Conversation podcast, a year ago to now,
Mhm.
how has that changed? How has your focus changed, towards even yourself and how you see what you give out to the world?
Well, I started entrepreneurial consulting 5 years ago. So helping entrepreneurs break barriers and scale their businesses. And when I, published the second book quite a few years ago, and I've been out on the speaker circuit talking about mentorship. And it was when I was meeting all these really cool individuals who have really great stories, but they really didn't have a platform to share those stories. So I started to share the story series, and I thought, oh, well, I'll get one story a week. We'll feature one person a week. And before I knew it, it was taking off like wildfire. So
Mhm.
at the end of last year, we had over 100 entrepreneurs that we featured in the
Nice.
series.
Yeah.
And so I thought, we have to give this its own brand identity. So in January, I started a whole new website with an online platform and a questionnaire that people can answer and really share their story. And then we amplify their story through social media and tag them on each post. And it really gives people sort of the behind the scenes to the person behind the logo.
Mhm.
Because we're all working on brand identity and trying to be top of mind with our clientele, and this sort of gives them a little bit of an indication as to the journey that got the person to that place, and that's
Mhm.
really what's very fun.
Yeah. And, I love that you talked about sharing your story because we as individuals, we as business owners, when do we share our story, right?
Very
We
true.
talk about our what we do, and we talk about our brand, and we talk about how we help people, but what is our actual story, right?
Yeah.
And again, it can be individual person, right? Helping other
Mhm.
people, but what is their story? What has them have this passion for just helping people, right? Or what has this passion in creating these communities? And I love how you have opened the door with, your share your story to allow this opportunity. And I know as our listeners are watching this today, they're going to say, share your stories. Like, what is all of that about? And like, how do I learn more about it and can I be part of this Share Your Story? So why don't you tell our listeners, our audience, more about
Sure.
that?
Sure. So it started as it tells entrepreneurial stories from entrepreneurs and enterprise leaders. So people who have a passion for their business. It's really super easy to participate. There's 3 questions that you answer. Tell us a little bit about your journey. When was your light bulb moment? And what are your 3 words of advice? And then at the end, you get to put your picture with your bio and a direct link to your website. So what we're really trying to do is increase your visibility, encourage collaboration, and really connect you with your community. Those are the 3 objectives for the Share Your Stories guest blog series. So, we've got folks from all over the world who have said, this is really cool. And the nice thing is you can use the URL in your media library and and it gives you a chance to tell a little bit about your personal story, because as you say, we all know what the brand identity is for the companies and the consumer focus that we would like to have. But what's in the heart of the person who started it is perhaps not always something that we share. And this really gives folks an opportunity to tell a little bit about the journey and how they got there. And I'm really quite amazed at the stories that people share. And we're getting quite a few comments from people saying that they read it with their morning coffee.
Oh.
They find them really inspirational.
Yeah.
So it's really very cool. I'm very much enjoying it. And
Nice.
for me, it's really I always say to my clients, if your business is all about the money, it's not going to last.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So you really do have to have some sort of passion that you can share, whether it's B2C or B2B, or even within your own tribe, your own community. So we're really building a community, because I know you've taken the initiative and you've reached out to some of the ladies in the series and done some podcasts with them. And I think that's fantastic. That's really what it's all about. Building a sense of community and being able to support one another and share ideas.
Yeah, I love that, right? That the fact that it's the collaboration, it's giving women, and I'm going to say women, the opportunity to reach out and say, hey, let's connect. And, from there, even you can create these, wonderful friendships, or even just someone that you can turn to help sort out what you're going through, right? It's like, I'm kind of stuck in this. What have you tried, or what do you do? And again, it goes beyond business. It goes even making that friendship connection and developing more and sharing your passions and how you help other people and how you're there for other people. So, again, I love the fact, Trish, that it opens up, and I mentioned this before, opens up the door to those endless opportunities, because we should never not and try not to hesitate from seeing what's ahead of you.
Well, and the other really nice thing about this program is that there's no cost to participate. So I really
Nice.
wanted to make it accessible to everyone. I know how difficult it was when I first started my first company way back when. Those were the days when we didn't have loonies. We actually had dollar bills. I had a dollar bill in my wallet for 3 years because I poured everything back into the business,
Yeah.
And so I know how much I would have appreciated just an opportunity to get the visibility for my company. And so that's really my paying it forward to folks and giving
Nice.
them a chance to sort of say, this is what I do. This is why I do it. And if you connect with me, reach out and let's start a new conversation. So that's
Yeah.
really what the platform's all about.
Lovely. And where can people go, Trish, to reach out to you and also to learn and find out more about Share Your Story series?
So with the rebrand, I've now got a website that's under my own name. So it's trishtonaj.com. And of course, there's the link to the ShareYourStories.online series from my website. But now that Share Your Stories has its own website, you can go to ShareYourStories.online. And then in the top right-hand corner, there's a little button that says Share Your Story, and you just fill out the online form and add your pictures. It will come to our team. We'll ensure that there's no spelling mistakes and that the format's all consistent. And then we put you up onto the site, and then we share your story throughout social media and tag you on each post. So
Nice.
it's really easy peasy.
Yeah. And then you mentioned social media. So as far as social media, do you have a social media site yourself? Does Share Your Stories have social media sites also?
Yes, we have on LinkedIn, I have my personal profile as well as the Share Your Stories profile. On Facebook, we have, again, both. And then on Instagram, I'm sharing the stories under my own name. And under Twitter, I'm sharing the stories under my own name. So we sort of have all the bases covered. And then, of course, we all belong to some great groups as well. So when you add up all of those sort of great social groups that we belong to, I share the stories throughout all of those tribes as well. So the reach is expanding with each, coming month as the series grows. And it's really quite fun. And I encourage everybody to go and read the stories with their morning coffee as part of their early morning routine.
Very nice. And if you're scrambling to write all that down, do not worry because it's below this video.
Thank you.
So Trish, at the beginning, I mentioned that it would not be right of me not to mention COVID-19 because so many of us, and I talked about this the other day, that we're on this wave, we're on this roller coaster, right? We have up days, we have down days. Many people are facing fears, anxieties skyrocketing. But at the same time, if we can continue to focus on the positive things in our life and the things we're grateful for, I really believe very strongly that that'll help people get through those rough spots, and realizing that as you're simplifying your life, it's like, wow, maybe I didn't need all these fancy things in my life after all, right? So, going forward with that, what have you been doing? Because we need to diligently practice social distancing as hard as it is. That's the only way we can kind of flatline. I mean, COVID-19 is not going away anytime soon. I mean, let's be honest, right? It is there. It could be all of 2020 and beyond. But what are you doing, Trish, yourself to get through this COVID-19?
Well, it's really interesting because I've really changed my own routine. So, as we're both, you and I met at the CanFit Pro conference quite a few years ago. So we're both certified personal trainers. So, fitness has become even more important. But what I've done in addition to the fitness is I've really started to commit to a meditation practice.
Nice.
So I do a meditation practice for 10 minutes in the morning as soon as I get up. Then I go and do my walk, whatever distance that may be. And then I come back and get ready to face the day. And throughout the day, what I'm actually doing is I'm getting reconnected with food. I must admit, I'm not much of a cook. But I found that if you have 3 small meals of the leafy green, all the things that we all know we should do, leafy greens, vegetables, a little bit of protein. And if we space those meals out throughout the day, I found that there's no need for snacking. So, unfortunately, there's some folks who are, and I'm certainly one of those folks at one point in time where I would have done a lot of stress eating at this time. And I find that I'm not doing that because I've really committed to some great clean eating and doing the regular fitness exercise. And then I'm also doing some online education programs, taking the time now to visit some of the websites. There's lots of folks that are offering, free or discounted modules so that we can reconnect with our own sense of self. And so I'm really spending some time doing that and really focusing on my business rather than in my business. This is the opportunity when we can do some new strategizing for what's the new normal going to be?
What is normal anyways, right?
Exactly. And to your point, what's our new definition of success going to be?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it's changing for everybody. And as far as success, I love the fact that I'm going to wind it into movement where people think we have to move a certain way, our bodies, we have to exercise, move a certain length. But the fact that you're just going out for a walk and it's like, I'm just going to walk wherever it takes me today, and I'm not going to set a time limit. And I love the fact that you're tuning into your mind and body, and you're allowing yourself, you're giving yourself permission to fit that into your lifestyle. So I love that you shared that. As far as that, what is the advice that you feel you'd love to share with other people and helping them get through this COVID-19?
I think people just need to connect with their soul and really try to, as you say, give yourself permission to just be in the moment, enjoy the simple things in life. Because I find that we're running around with our hair on fire or running at Mach 2 with our hair on fire. We never have any time. We're going from one place to another. We're so busy. And this is really giving us that opportunity to take a pause, sit back, reevaluate, just be in the moment. And, I live alone. So one of the things that I'm doing is these types of conversations, there's some great online platforms. I'm sharing cups of coffee with people at different times of the day so that I have a face-to-face connection with someone. And that's really important when, when you live alone. I'm sure, like lots of other people, I'm grocery shopping for my parents because they're in a high risk category. So I don't want them out in public. So,
Yeah.
we're all doing our little bits. And one of the things I've really tried to do, funnily enough, is a random act of kindness every day.
Nice.
So whether that's, taking somebody's paper from the street and putting it on their front porch, or, helping someone else with their groceries when they're in the parking lot, just really simple things that make a different kind of connection with the people in our communities. And I think that's really important right now.
Nice. Very nice. And, I love how at the beginning where you mentioned just now that simplifying life, right? It's something, that you and I have both had a passion for, right? People were so busy being busy, not taking the time to just slow down, unwind, to focus on themselves. It's something I've been preaching for I don't know how many years. People are finally doing it. So, I really hope that people will take this time and remember it and not go back to how it was before. So let's hope this is a learning curve, as you mentioned. Let's get back to simplifying and stay there. Because we're all in this together and we can all get through this together, and it almost seems like people are facing things and being stronger because, like, okay, I can get through this. I'm going to get through this day first. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow or next month or next year. I'm going to take it day by day.
Yeah, living in the moment. And I'm also making suggestions to the folks that I work with. Start a different gratitude journal.
Yeah.
Start a totally separate journal for this experience. And just write down the things that you feel and the positive things that you've done in the day. And then when we've got the all clear that we can go back to do a little bit more socializing in our communities, that's when the time that you go back and you read. What changed, what evolved, what happened to me throughout this process that I changed the way that I was thinking. And now I've got to develop a new routine. So that's really going to be the interesting part, I think, is at the end of the experience, when we're able to get out and really start to become a little more active in our communities, how each and every one of us are going to see little changes, I think, in our personalities.
Yeah. Beautiful way to end this conversation, Trish. Very well said. I think I really like the idea of starting a new journal because I've been doing, journaling for years, and the one gets filled, I start the next one. But that's a really interesting point to maybe start a new one just dedicated to COVID, right? I mean, things that I'm not going to change, I'm still going to have in there every day, 5 things I'm grateful for. But yeah, that's a really great suggestion. So on that note, I want to thank you very much, Trish, for your time, sharing your wisdom, letting people know about your Share Your Stories series, and really inviting people and giving them the opportunity to become a part of this and reach out and realize that you're important and you have a story to share, and let other people know about their stories, as well as let them know about you. So I thank you very much, Trish, for being here, giving your time, and sharing your words of wisdom.
Thank you, Tanya. It's really lovely. And I wish you continued success in the series. And who knows, maybe in another 6 months, we'll have a totally different conversation. You never know.
You never know. You never know. And as always, everybody, I love to share. You know what I'm going to say. When you end your day today, as you lie in bed, think about the best thing that happened today, because no matter what, there's always a wonderful thing that happened. And when you wake up tomorrow, think about or begin your new gratitude journal, writing down 3, 5 things you are grateful for. This is Tanya Otterstein-Liehs. Wish you a wonderful day. Keep on thinking positive. Go ahead, share this, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. Until next time, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.